year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
A devastating flash flood has killed at least 160 people in a border area of Nepal and China.
Hundreds remain missing, including pilgrims traveling to a Hindu site. Officials say entire roads and buildings were swept away as one river surged nearly 30 feet in just 30 minutes.
That's Ken Lorman reporting. Experts believe a glacial collapse caused a disaster in the warming Himalayan region. Drone footage shows roads destroyed and buildings buried in the process. President Trump on his way west to raise money for Republicans ahead of the midterms. The president heading to Houston, Texas tonight for an RNC fundraiser. Tomorrow he is scheduled to head to the Johnson Space Center. He'll meet with the NASA administrator there. The president is also set to award the Congressional Space Medal of Honor to the Artemis II crew. Those are the folks who traveled to the moon and back on a recent mission. You'll find more on these stories, breaking news, and analysis at townhall.com. The NFL set to play a record 9 international games this season. They include 3 cities hosting for the first time: Melbourne, Australia, Rio de Janeiro, and Paris. Legal action against a FIFA president.
The complaint is for possible financial mismanagement over FIFA President Gianni Infantino's failed plan to sell future World Cup profits to private investors. UEFA says it has filed documents in Manhattan court requesting discovery of potential evidence from the New York investment fund Thrive Capital Management, founded by Joshua Kushner. Thrive and Kushner were to be the anchor investors intending to pay FIFA $4.2 billion for a 20% stake in a subsidiary that would run FIFA's commercial events. That includes the World Cup. Infantino dropped the sell-off plan after a furious backlash by global soccer leaders, including UEFA. I'm Mike Hempen.
More at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good afternoon. We are joined by the great Chris Ruddy, founder and CEO of Newsmax. Good morning, Chris. Good afternoon, rather.
Michael, great to always be on with you.
Yes, and you've done such a great job. You know, we do this little thing when we start the program, Chris, called the Afternoon Rundown. You want to join me with it?
Sure.
Okay, number one, here's the Afternoon Rundown. It's brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Number one, Donald Trump has signed an executive order changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America. Chris, did he tell you about this before he did it?
He did not, no. I thought he was going to name it Lake Trump.
Well, how long have you known the president? A long time, haven't you?
Almost 30 years.
Wow. You know, I was born in Oswego, New York. Now, I never knew when I was born that I could say I was born on the shores of Lake America. Canada's not so crazy about it. Number two in the Afternoon Rundown, Carolyn Levitt's last day as press secretary. She did a great job, didn't she, Chris?
Well, I think that she did an amazing job. You know, she started on Newsmax. She started, Fox wouldn't have her.
Well,
she was a Newsmax contributor.
All of the great reporters at Newsmax. I mean, you got Greta Van Susteren and our good friend James Rosen. I mean, he's doing just great work.
James Rosen has been a tremendous asset. We have really great people in Washington. Greta Van Susteren, Greg Kelly, John Gizzi, Rob Finnerty, Rob Schmidt. We have a great lineup.
And, of course, the great Tom Basile, who now lives in Tennessee, a great man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're rocking and rolling.
And the last item on our afternoon rundown is, I really want to talk to you about this. This Nexstar Tegna local TV merger. Oh my goodness. Local television is beyond awful. And now this behemoth owns 264 local television stations. Pretty bad, it seems to me.
Well, they'll own a lot of stations in Ohio and around the country. I think it's a very dangerous thing. The Trump FCC under Brendan Carr approved this. We oppose it. We think it's been a terrible thing. The TV industry, why should they own every station across America? They're saying it's going to lead to only 2 or 3 TV networks. They'll own 2 to 4 major stations. So imagine somebody owning the ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's going to crush local news, which is the way most people get news. And it'll crush a lot of independent media, and it'll cause cable bills to skyrocket.
Yeah, it's really bad. And you've been a leader on that, Chris. So
we have, and the courts have ruled somewhat in our favor. And but they're still moving. I just don't get it. The president's had a remarkable record. I support him, but I just can't support media consolidation. I think it's a threat to the future for our country.
It really is. And Chris, you said something very important, because with Nexstar and these big giant companies owning local television stations, there is no such thing as local news anymore, at least no coverage of significant political news. Here in Nashville, Nexstar owns the ABC affiliate, Scripps owns the CBS affiliate, Sinclair owns the Fox affiliate, and Gray TV owns the NBC affiliate. Would you like to hear a story about how bad they are?
Yeah, tell me. I'm all ears.
So listen, as you may know, I've been a plaintiff in the Covenant Killer Manifesto case, right? And so we wanted to get the documents related to the killing. March of 2023. We lost in trial court, and the trial court judge, actually, because we legally obtained some documents and published some stories, she held a hearing 2 years ago and tried to put me in jail, contempt of court.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Every single local television station was there for that one. And obviously she didn't do that because she didn't have any reason to do it. 2 years later, just last week, the Tennessee State Supreme Court affirmed the Court of Appeals decision that all of these documents had to be released. Would you like to know how many local television stations covered that story? The answer would be 0, Chris, 0.
Amazing. Well, that's what's going on. They don't want to. But you know what? The little news we do get, it's going to be completely controlled by New York and Washington networks. If we allow the FCC plan to go through, it's going to be massive consolidation. Reagan set up this rule that only any network could only own stations reaching 39% of the country, less than half. Now, Brendan Carr and the Trump administration want 100% of the country to get ABC, CBS, and NBC and own the stations in those local markets. It's going to be terrible. And so we're fighting it. We're asking Americans to call the congressman and senator, let them know they oppose lifting the TV cap.
Well, I oppose it because, it's the death of local journalism. That's for sure. Because what they do is they run all of the news out of their headquarters in New York and Washington. You don't get any local news. You get whatever the party line of the regime media is.
Well, and they all work together. They read the New York Times and the Washington Post, and then they just use that as talking points for their shows at night. And imagine, that some liberal left-wing news editor in New York is going to start telling people in Nashville, the local stations, Trump's coming in town, don't give him any airway.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Trump will tell you, President Trump, and I know you tracked him during that 2016 campaign, he won because the local markets weren't controlled by the big networks in New York. And the local networks had to cover them because the other channels were covering them. But now if you have one company owning all the stations in like a market like Nashville, if they don't cover you, that's too bad. You're not going to get any attention.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that. And of course, the local television stations, they all, because they're owned by these large out-of-state conglomerates, they have a left-wing propaganda regime media view of the world.
No, I mean, they have a very left-wing view. The Media Research Center in the 24 campaign found out that 90% of the press reports on major media about Kamala Harris were positive. 80% of the press reports about Donald Trump were negative. I mean, think about that. Like, how can these people even claim they're balanced? And I think it's a key reason your show's growing. Newsmax has been growing incredibly. We're reaching about 50 million people. We're on almost every cable system in the country. If you get cable or YouTube TV or Hulu, you should be able to get Newsmax. You should check it out. We have incredible programming. President Trump says it's his favorite channel. And then, we have our streaming channel on Roku and Samsung and all those OTT streaming platforms. We have an app. 15-plus million people, Michael, have downloaded the Newsmax app, and they can watch. It's free. You just go on your iPhone or Android, go in the App Store, Newsmax, and it's within a 2-minute. You can have and watch Newsmax anywhere in the world. The very little networks allow you to do that. So it's been a very exciting, and I think it's a sign like now the public really wants this. They want to have alternatives. They don't trust, the big media, constant attacks on the president, constant attacks on Republicans, and the DSA candidates are getting off pretty lightly.
Did you see that video of the crazy Oklahoma Senate nominee? She was just like having basically a mental breakdown in her bedroom, and it was embarrassingly bad.
No, it's really the types of things and how El Sayed and the things he says and the bizarre, like and he's leading in some polls. Talarico,
yeah,
the woke agenda that he's pushing, that he says he wants to welcome Mexicans at the border.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Chris, stick around through the break. I want to talk about the midterm when we come back. We've got about a 3-minute break. This segment has been brought to you by our very good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, the place for Second Amendment practitioners in the United States to come. And on September 19th, sign up for their Force-on-Force training activities. They'll have brief sign-ups. I think they're going fast. Force-on-Force. glockstore.com//FOF. Back with Chris Ruddy after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Salty. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Salty almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Sol-T. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Sol-T, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the wellness company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We're talking with the great Chris Ruddy, one of the great entrepreneurs in media history here in the country of the United States of America. Been at it for 30-plus years. Chris, you talked a little bit earlier about the midterms. They're a little more than 2 months from now. What's the outlook?
Well, I'm not very positive as of today. I don't think we're going to keep the House, and I think the Senate's in question. I also think that we've got over 60 days to turn it around. The president has a fantastic track record. The guy closed the border overnight. He stopped inflation. He really did. The economy's coming back. Big, beautiful, massive tax cuts. Business is growing. Lowest prescription drug costs in 40 years. Trump accounts for young people. Many things to the military he's done. Now, well, there are some hiccups. The Iran war is not finished yet. That's a work in progress, but I think the president has shown real leadership. So if you look at that, I think it's now the Democrats are trying to throw everything in all the mud about corruption and other issues against him. And we need to focus people on the dangers of democratic socialism. The alternative is monstrous, would be terrible for the economy, society, and you can be sure they'll be bringing back the woke agenda.
Why are people not as concerned about the woke agenda and the Democrats as they should be?
Well, again, it goes back to the media, Michael. They don't talk about their woke agenda. They're not making it an issue. They're making Trump the issue, the Republicans the issue, the Iran war the issue, or this, that, and the other thing. They don't want to talk about their issues and what their real agenda is. They're sneaking it through. We saw Mamdani's come in. He's already put big taxes on the billionaires. Businesses are leaving in droves here. Homeowners can't afford their homes here. And he's already doing a lot of and then he repealed the anti-Semitic laws and executive orders that protected Jews in the city. I mean, it's all right out of this Bernie Sanders playbook.
What's Bernie saying these days?
Well, I don't track everything that Bernie says, but he's been supporting a lot of the Democratic DSA candidates. One of the things he's doing is trying to stop data centers and AI. I think it's a terrible mistake. AI is the future of the world. It needs guardrails. We need to monitor it, but we shouldn't be blocking its implementation. And finds out a lot of the funding for the anti-data center campaigns are coming from China. And they are spending literally billions of dollars. We've had a report on Newsmax about it, and it's a really dangerous thing.
Yeah, it really is. And data centers, if we don't have data centers, we're going to lose the AI war to China. That's not going to be good.
China, we're ahead of China right now, but China is, funny enough, they're spending money in America telling us to stop data centers. But meanwhile, they're massively growing their data centers.
You know, they are. Here's something that has really bothered me. As I told you at the beginning, I was born in Oswego, New York, on the shores of what's now apparently Lake America. My dad was born in Hemingford, Quebec, in Canada, as was his dad and his grandfather and great-grandfather. So I have a connection to Canada. We still own a little bit of land up there. But I'm very concerned that Canada's gone so far left, and I saw a report now that, they've been really, many of their institutions have been basically penetrated by the Chinese Communist Party. What's your take on Canada?
Well, Canada is not perfect. I don't think I would be spending a lot of time dealing with them on these issues or making them into a big enemy. I think the president, I understand his point, but if you look at the actual trade deficit, a lot of it comes from just oil that comes across that we use, and it's cheaper than getting it from other sources. And so it's not like they're making manufacturing products and putting tariffs blocking Americans. There are some of that, and the president's holding them to account. But he'd like a blanket tariff on to Canada. I think there should be no tariff because we're basically one country in terms of economically we're sort of connected. And so I would prefer that we do something like that and hold his firepower for places like China and other countries that are abusing, that happen to be abusing this.
You were pessimistic about the chances of the GOP holding on to the House and a little bit pessimistic of the chances of holding on to the Senate. What advice do you have for our listeners now a little more than 60 days until Election Day?
Well, keep informed and keep sharing information, right? Listen to your show, go to Newsmax. We have a lot of social media. We have 26 million followers on social media. Newsmax is on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn and all of that. So go there, tell the world what you're thinking. You can have the 30, 50, 100 people on your friends list you can have a big impact if everybody did that. The numbers would be huge in the tens of millions of people by sharing messages. So do it. Let people know. And, make sure that you vote for the candidates that you believe in. Now,
The president, I guess he talks to you pretty often. Has he called you up lately for any advice? And I guess you might not tell us what that advice was, but tell us about that relationship with the president.
He usually calls and complains about Michael Patrick Leahy.
I know. I've heard that.
He's like, the guy is not really nice to me. He used to be nice to me, but now he's not so nice.
I'm always nice to the president.
No, I know you are. I know you. I know.
I've actually only had one extensive interview with him, like it was 10 years ago, right? And I was writing for Breitbart. I was going to just really rip into him about eminent domain. And you know what? The guy knows what he talks about. I hated the eminent domain case out of Connecticut, right? One of the worst in history. But he explained to me, because he'd done his homework, that was a very bad case. But you know what? In that case, they allowed the states to change it. That's what should have happened. He was really on top of it.
Well, he's a guy that's on top of a lot of things, and he's really moving. He's done tremendous things, and he's only been president a year and a half. It's amazing.
This time around,
it's like 5 years. But we're fighting here, and we're hoping people will join our revolution. We went public last year on the New York Stock Exchange. That's done exceedingly well. We always say if people want to really support us, they can join our news revolution and go to the New York Stock Exchange. And that has been a really, we broke through in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
We're now one of the top news brands in America, reaching tens of millions of people. And it's really not what we do, it's what the public is doing. They're saying we really don't want ABC and CNN. And frankly, Fox News is changing. It's not as conservative. President Trump has criticized them quite a bit.
He went after, Shannon Bream, I think, pretty directly last week or so.
Yeah. Even Don Jr., his son, won't even go on Fox because he was so angry that during the years the president was out of power, Fox froze them out and censored them. Newsmax covered every presidential rally. We thought the public really had a right to know. And there's just a lot of, I think, things people really can keep informed on through Newsmax, and we're excited about the future. And certainly we'd love to have you come visit Newsmax once in a while.
I'll be happy to do that. By the way, are you ready now, Chris Ruddy, for the big question?
I'm ready.
Okay. Is Chris Ruddy of Newsmax the hardest working man in media, or is John Fredericks of the John Fredericks Radio Network, the hardest working man in
Wait
media.
a minute. I thought you were going to ask me if I was going to run for president in 2028. Like, I just am I better than John Fredericks? Everybody knows John is smarter and better looking than I am. I just gave up on that contest. I go in a room, all the girls go to John. They like, who's this guy in the corner, right? But then I thought maybe you thought I could go in the aisle or something and say, hey, I represent, I'm friends with John Fredericks and Michael Patrick Leahy. If I can get along with both of these guys, I can get along with the Russians and everyone else.
Absolutely. Okay, so you mentioned, you floated the presidential possibility. What do you think?
Well, there's that General Sherman said, if drafted, I will not run. If nominated, if elected, I won't serve. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of better people out there. So I'm not. But I thought when you give such an important wind-up question, that would be the question.
Well,
maybe we should do a poll: Ruddy versus Vance, Ruddy versus Rubio, Ruddy versus John Fredericks.
I think that's a great idea, actually. I mean, you've got the capability to do it at Newsmax, and you might be surprised at how popular.
Look, I run $1 billion plus corporation. Yeah. It's a public company. We are one of the top media in the country.
Yeah.
We support the president's agenda, although not every single issue. But I think that he's a tremendous president.
Yeah.
I think that we need to continue what he's doing in a very powerful way across the country.
Well, Chris Ruddy, it is always a delight to have you on the program, and I will take you up. Should I come to visit you in New York or down in Florida? Which one is better?
I think, that party we're having in Rio de Janeiro, I think you're coming to that with John Fredericks.
Oh, I don't know. I can make it to Rio. But thank you.
Anytime, any place I am, you're welcome.
All right, Chris Ruddy.
Any place.
CEO of Newsmax.
All right.
The hardest working guy in
great.
media.
Cool. Always great being on with you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. All right. What a great interview with Chris Ruddy. Guy runs $1 billion company, and he's talking with us. How about that? Up next, Tom Pappert. Some breaking news on the Covenant Killer Manifesto document case. Yeah, breaking news. Back after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Ponder this. Why would God permit evil to occur? Why does he allow bad things to happen to good people? Why doesn't he intercede when innocent people are unjustly accused? These questions sometimes cause good people to turn their face away from God and question the very existence of God. But God does exist, and he does permit evil. Why, you ask? The short answer is that God permits evil to bring about a greater good. Think about this. The greatest evil ever committed is the killing of our God, Jesus Christ, the second person of the Holy Trinity. From this great evil came the greatest good, the opening of the gates of heaven. That's right, heaven did not open until Christ shed his blood for us. We must always trust God's plan for our salvation, especially when hard times fall upon us. Pray, trust, and persevere in good times and bad. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Honesty, integrity, help Tennessee, markpody.com.
The values that have made Tennessee strong, faith, personal responsibility, freedom, and respect for one another are rooted in timeless godly principles. Those values are worth protecting, and I'm going to continue fighting to preserve them for our children and grandchildren. I'm Mark Pody, and I'd be honored to earn your vote again.
markpody.com.
Paid for by the campaign to elect Mark Pody.
Candace Graham, Treasurer.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of three who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, the winner of the Dow Prize for the best local journalism in the country, a prize that he won along with yours truly and our executive editor, Christina Botteri, the one, the only, Tom Pappert. Good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Well, Tom, you wouldn't know it by all the local television stations in Nashville, Tennessee, or all the national regime media, but we won a huge victory in court earlier this month. The Tennessee State Supreme Court affirmed a Court of Appeals decision refusing to denying a request for permission to appeal by the Metro Nashville government and the Covenant Parents Trust, and basically said, no, the appeals court got it right. All of those documents, the writings of the Covenant Killer from 2023 and earlier, and related documents should be released. And they told the trial court, now you've got to go and implement the order that the Court of Appeals gave you back in February. Well, it's been how long now? Week and a half, sometime since then. We've got nothing from Metro Nashville. And apparently the trial court has not followed up on the instructions. We, however, are very interested in getting some more documents from Metro Nashville. In particular, let's talk about the will of the Covenant Killer, Audrey Elizabeth Hale. First, tell us about the importance of the will. And actually, as you're talking, I'm going to play. We're going to play put up the image, Tom, of a story you wrote, I think about 2 years ago at the Tennessee Star. Go ahead and tell us the story.
Well, Michael, the will in question was written by Audrey Hale, and we know it was written by Audrey Hale for a couple reasons. One, viewers are likely seeing on screen at some point that she wrote in her suicide letter, "Please read my will." She wrote it in all caps. The text was 3 or 4 times larger than everything else on the page, and it was underlined. So it's pretty clear that Audrey Hale thought she had a will. We learned next from Metro Nashville Police Department when they released their final report last year. Well, they also confirmed that Audrey Elizabeth Hale, this transgender killer of 6 at the Covenant School, she left a will. It contained instructions about what to do with her things like her stuffed animals, her toys, her cell phone, and yes, her manifestos, the journals that she left behind that have been the subject of litigation until last week for more than 3 years. And what's interesting about this is longtime listeners will remember this group of Covenant School parents asked for permission and received it to intervene in the lawsuit early on based on the claim that they were now the intellectual property owners of everything Audrey Hale ever wrote. They claimed in court filings and before judges that they received the intellectual property rights to Hale's writings from her parents after the killer died.
Okay, here's the one problem on that. Her parents then told the court that she died intestate. That is without a will. However, let's put this document up. Now, we obtained this legally, and I'm just going to read what this said. This was obtained by Metro Nashville Police Department really on the afternoon of March 26, 2023. She had killed 6 people at Covenant Christian School earlier in the day. 20 minutes later, Metro Nashville Police Department killed her. They went into that house where she was living, and there's an image of this suicide note, which reads, "Dear Mom and Dad, if I don't survive my massacre, I want my room to be left exactly as it is left. I don't want any of my possessions down in that dingy basement. Then in all caps, please read my will about what to do with my stuffed animals and possessions. I'm worried what you and Scott will have to go through. I'm sorry. It is my time to go. I love you." Signed, Aiden, A-I-D-E-N. Tell our listeners why Audrey Elizabeth Hale signed this suicide note with the name Aiden.
Yes, Audrey Elizabeth Hale is, of course, a biological woman. She was born a woman. As a leftist would say, she was assigned female at birth. But at some point, we now know roughly when it happened, thanks to these journals. It was when she was a college student at the Nassau Arts College. She decided that she was a lesbian, then that she was, in fact, transgender, and she very quickly decided on the name Aiden. In fact, she has some journal entries where she seems to refer to Aiden as almost like an alternate personality, somebody that she can interface with, who told him, "Hi, my name's Aiden. I'm going to take over Audrey Hale's position in the world now."
Okay, so let's go back to this issue of the Covenant Parents Trust. It's a little complicated, but let's explain. So in June of 2023, the parents of the killer stated to the court that their daughter died intestate, that is, without a will. And then they purported to transfer that ownership to this Covenant Parents Trust, which had been set up by some attorneys, to represent the interests of the parents of children who had attended Covenant. school. And
well, Michael, it's actually more interesting than that. I'm sorry to jump in,
go ahead.
but I have the timeline in front of me. So the Hales made an appearance in this case to get the manifestos released on June 12th, 2023. Their lawyers came in and they notified the court that they had assigned their rights, past tense, to Hales' writings to this group of covenant parents. It wasn't until 2 days later, on June 15th, that probate filing was made to open the case for Hales' estate as intestate.
Okay, good point. So they didn't have the ownership of her property. They claimed that she died intestate, and yet they said, we looked all over, we couldn't find it. Well, guess what? There was a document that Metro Nashville Police found that they gave in camera to the judge, the trial court judge, to review, and that document was described as a will in the inventory list. Then, in April of 2025, in their final report, what did they say? Did Metro Nashville Police Department say Audrey Elizabeth Hale left a will?
They said exactly that, Michael. They said she left a will and had specific instructions what to do with her toys, her stuffed animals, her electronics, and her writings, as well as the videos and thumb drives that she left behind.
Okay. So the trial court didn't recognize that for some reason, right? And apparently an attorney from Metro Nashville then said, well, yeah, Your Honor, apparently said this in court, according to our sources. Yeah, well, we gave you a document that said will, but it wasn't an executed copy of a will. That's it. Now, they go to the probate court. I checked this out. If somebody dies intestate, their heirs, that would be the parents, inherit the real property immediately, but they cannot inherit the personal property, that would be the intellectual property, the writings, etc., unless they file a request with the probate court to request that vesting, and the court grants that. Have they filed such a request? And has the court granted that request? Tom Pappert.
Michael, we believe they've filed such a request. We're still working on getting our hands on these probate court filings. Part of the reason why it's a little bit difficult is because the case is still ongoing. Audrey Hale, who died in March of 2023 as the result of the attack she committed at the Covenant School, her estate is still not closed in August of 2026, as far as we can tell. The last update, the last filing, was a status report submitted in December of last year. So no, Michael, it does not seem as though the probate court could have made any final decisions regarding her estate.
And under Tennessee law, if somebody dies with a holographic will, right, and that's submitted to the probate court, and there apparently such a will exists, if two people testify in probate that it's the handwriting of the person who's died, that will is valid. Now, we know from Metro Nashville Police Department that Audrey Elizabeth Hale in the will said, I'm going to tell you what to do with my writings. We suspect that she said, because of some of the other communications she had, that she wanted all of her writings out for people to see. This is very, very bizarre because the trial court judge accepted the argument that the parents of the killer owned the writings, and they transferred ownership to Covenant Parents Trust, but they don't own it. It has not been determined yet by the court who owns it. Tom, stick around. We have more on this when we get back.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
News Talk WJFV is your exclusive outlet for University of Virginia Cavaliers football. Coming off an ACC regular season title and Gator Bowl victory, Coach Elliott and his squad are aiming for national prominence in the 2026 season. Catch every play of every game plus pregame and postgame coverage on Tidewater's home for Cavaliers football. News Talk WJFV. First game August 29 at NC State. Kick time 3:30. Get the complete schedule at WJFVradio.com. The Cavaliers play here.
Ponder this. It's amazing how many of us choose to go about our daily life without recognizing others who cross our paths each day. Take, for example, your morning walk, run, or workout at the gym. As we encounter others, often we don't make eye contact, let alone smile or greet each other. Listening to music or a podcast with our earbuds is so much more preferable than having to greet others we encounter. As a result, people are becoming more and more disconnected from each other. So let's start a human connection trend. Here's an experiment for you to try. Put your phone and earbuds away for a day while in public. Try to engage others in your path with a simple smile and a kind hello. These simple gestures will become a powerful force in the world. A smile costs nothing, but can be a powerful tool to brighten the day for others. Let your smile be a light for all to see. It's a gesture of love from the Lord. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Tom Pappert, tell everybody why I'm spending so much time on the will, that document we don't have yet, the will of the Covenant Killer, Audrey Elizabeth Hale. Why is this so important?
Well, Michael, without mind reading, I think I can share why I think it's so important, and that is this court case, this fight to get the killer's writings stretched on for more than 3 years. And in no small part because of this copyright argument. That's why the chancellor in Nashville, Aisha Miles, ruled in favor of Nashville and the parents. They said, well, we own the copyright to the killer's writings, and this judge bought it. Now, the appellate court didn't, and the Supreme Court in Tennessee didn't, and that's great, but it took 3.5 years. And it seems to me, if they had been, I don't want to accuse anybody of being dishonest, if they had been accurate, let's say, in their communications with the court about who really owned this copyright, this intellectual property, and when, then the people of Tennessee and the United States of America might have gotten these writings years earlier. And that is a no-brainer for transparency. These are public records. It is absurd it took 3.5 years. It's a slap in the face to the public. We're glad we finally made it happen. And I think next time it needs to not take 3.5 years.
Well, we haven't gotten from the Metro Nashville government anything yet. We got a lot of the other documents from the FBI in our federal case, but there's a lot more we're asking Metro Nashville for, not just the writings of the killer, not just the will of the killer, which exists, which they're holding on to and aren't sharing with us, but all of the information relating to communications surrounding the legacy token memo from the FBI. Tell everybody what we have done, asking them now after the court case, hey, give us the will, give us everything related to the FBI legacy token memo. What kind of response have we gotten from Metro Nashville?
Well, and the legacy token memo, of course, was sent by the FBI to Metro Nashville Police, and it essentially said, anytime you have a mass shooter, you should never release anything they created that would explain why they did it. And this memo even invoked the Columbine case back in the 90s, which, of course, they destroyed some of that evidence. There were basement tapes that never saw the light of day to protect the public. And so we asked Metro Nashville, well, what did you do with that memo? Who received it? What was the decisions after it was did it set policy? Did it inform your police behaviors? Did you do anything with this memo? We also asked for a lot of other materials related to the Covenant investigation, but not the killer's writing itself, because we were just talking about this 3.5 year delay. It took them most of that 3.5 years, about 2.5 years of it, to finish the investigation. So I think the public has a right to know what on earth they were doing for all this time when, as a result of the investigation being opened, the public was not allowed to read the writings.
Yeah, and there's a lot of questions about the medical treatment of the killer and what kind of psychiatric treatment she had for 22 years, why it was hidden, who are the institutions responsible for her treatment, and also the information that we obtained legally is apparently she had told people she wanted to kill her dad and others, and nobody followed up on the duty to warn to tell them. That's a violation of the law, and that did not happen. I'm getting the impression, Tom, that Metro Nashville government and other kind of blue cities and blue states are hiding all sorts of information from the people, and they are using existing law and lawfare to excuse their failure to release important public documents. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Michael, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but this murderer, this vile person who committed unthinkable acts, before she became that person, she was failed. This is a lady who, from the time she was 6 years old until 28, was going to talk to therapists and doctors and mental health professionals on a very regular basis. We know from what we've already received, and this is why we want to get more, that she was twice evaluated for inpatient commitment by mental health professionals. The first time they said, oh, well, we think she has autism, and so it'll be hard for her. So they let her go home. And as you said, we have police documents that state Hale told one of these mental health professionals, yeah, I'm thinking about killing my dad, maybe committing a mass shooting, and they didn't inform the father. So I think you're right. I think that there are a lot of failures in the case of Audrey Hale before she ever bought the first gun using Pell Grant money, by the way. And I think that is what the powers that be do not want exposed.
Yeah, I think they're abusing the Public Records Act, and I think it's time to call them out. They need to start producing these documents. The public needs to know. I think they're going to continue to resist it. I'm sorry to say. And so we're going to have to take additional action, I think, because right now they don't want the will released. And they also don't want, even though the court told them, the Tennessee State Supreme Court said you got to release these documents. They're not releasing them. Your thoughts as we close out, Tom Pappert.
Michael, you would think that Metro Nashville, after this really major defeat on something they fought for so long, when their legal department has it's changing ownership, so to speak, getting a new leader, you would think that they would know better than to continue fighting. But I think you're going to be right. I think they're going to continue to delay, and Michael Patrick Leahy is not going to let that bone go.
Nor will Tom Pappert, nor will the Tennessee Star or the Star News Network. Tom Pappert, a great report, as always. Thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Michael.
All right, when we come back, if all goes well, Crom Carmichael and then Dr. Claire Reeves. Back after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
WJFN, Goochland, Bon Air, Chester, 100.5, 107.7, 92.7 FM, AM 820, and WJFB, Portsmouth, AM 1650.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Canadian military spending is surging with companies expanding into defense contracting. For example, one company known for luxury parkas now making high-tech military gear. The Canadian government pouring billions into their industries to reduce reliance on American suppliers. As a trade war heats up between the two countries, President Trump is changing the name of another body of water.
President Trump changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Now he's looking north. The president in the Oval Office with a new map and telling reporters he's renaming Lake Ontario and calling it Lake America.
Correspondent Laura Winters reporting Iran's economy is poised for more instability as the administration tries to convince other countries to end all financial dealings with the Islamic regime there. One country has already done so, the United Arab Emirates. Meanwhile, new details are emerging about an Iranian plot targeting world leader's family member right here in the United States.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Iran tried to murder one of his sons. A U.S. law enforcement source identifies the target as his eldest son, Yair, who was living near Miami. Israeli reports say Yair was moved out of the area after intelligence determined an Iranian cell was already on the ground. The plot adds to growing concerns about Iranian threats against officials and their families. Willie Nelson, Washington.
California's federal government battling over hospice fraud.
California's been a focus of the Trump administration's crackdown on fraud in federally funded health care programs, with more than 1,000 California hospices removed from Medicare since early 2025. Federal officials estimate that L.A. County alone accounts for an estimated $3.5 billion in fraudulent hospice claims. The state says it's doing its part to tackle the issue. California has revoked nearly 500 licenses since putting a moratorium on new hospices in 2021, and in June adopted long-awaited emergency regulations that set more stringent criteria for approving new licenses. Bernie Bennett reporting.
More at townhall.com.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
Is that a new bump on your dog's neck? Or is that bump just a part of his neck? Could be a bug bite or something way worse.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Wait, there's another bump right by the first bump.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family. I love a podcast.
Plus, Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo. Hey, Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel. Okay, now, Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
It's where I want to be. That's EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
The Food and Drug Administration has approved a groundbreaking pancreatic cancer drug that the experts predict will transform treatment for the notoriously deadly form of cancer. More on the good news there from correspondent Ed Donahue.
It's called daraxonrasib with the brand name Rasanq. The daily pills block a mutated protein that fuels tumor growth in more than 90% of pancreatic cancer cases. Patients who got the new treatment live for a median of 13.2 months, compared with 6.7 months for people on chemotherapy. One oncologist says this is not a cure, but it's the best option they've ever had. Pancreatic cancer is among the most deadly forms because it is hard to detect before it starts spreading to other organs. Earlier this year, former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse described on CBS's 60 Minutes how he had less pain while taking daraxonrasib. Ed Donahue, Washington.
You'll find breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. The country knew that Dolly Parton was very talented, but did you know how generous she was? Jason Walker has a report.
The Library of Congress calls Parton a titan of children's literacy for the millions of free books she provided every month through her Imagination Library. She also gave $1 million to Vanderbilt University's Medical Center to help develop Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. She purchased an entire Nashville mall to support the surrounding black neighborhood. Some estimates say Dolly Parton gave away at least $200 million. Jason Walker reporting.
Dolly Parton fans are circulating a petition to rename Nashville International Airport to Dolly Parton International. Parton was born east of Knoxville and became a megastar in Nashville, where she lived for most of her life. You'll find more on these stories at Town.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are joined by the original All-Star panelist, the one, the only, Crom Carmichael. Good afternoon, Crom.
Greetings, kind sir.
I'm still kind, even though it's the afternoon.
Yes, and you're sir.
I only dropped that morning once so far this show. So.
All right, well, good for you. All right, you're getting there. You are getting there. And for a person your age, that's not easy to do.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I am well past your age, so I have experience with being your age.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Crom, you've lived in Nashville for much of your life.
Yes.
And, such sad news. Dolly Parton, the greatest entertainer ever, passed away on Tuesday at the age of 80.
Yes, and I've talked to people about her passing, and she is in the world of entertainment. She checks so many boxes that I believe that the best word to describe her as a person is truly unique. I mean, she checks so many boxes. First of all, She was a great entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to say that she was the best entertainer, but no one was better as an entertainer. I'm talking about just that aspect of it. Her business acumen, unbelievable.
Very strong.
The way she treated other people, people say she was just the nicest person. And, you know, that word doesn't capture it. I can't figure out a word that captures the level of the level. Nice doesn't seem to be enough. She treated people. I will promise you that everybody that just met her felt better about themselves having spent a little time with her.
I have not seen a single report, not just now, but ever, where somebody described Dolly Parton as unkind.
Right, exactly. And what I'm saying is kind just doesn't capture it, because here's a person who her level of stardom on so many different levels. I mean, she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She was in the Country Music Hall of Fame. She's a Songwriter Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she may be the only person on the planet to be in all three of those. And
she was a big movie star.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. And so anyway, and a philanthropist. And you know what? I think that her philanthropy, when all is said and done, if she was going to be remembered for something, it would be the philanthropy first, and how she treated other people second, and then her entertainment empire.
Well, the philanthropy. We just heard a report on the news that in her lifetime, she's given away $200 million.
Well, I thought it was more than that.
That's a lot. Given that, that's a lot of money.
I know.
And her net worth apparently is still like $400 million.
Well, and you know, figuring out what her net worth is difficult, because Dollywood still exists.
Yeah, and by the way,
I think she still owns, or her estate owns, her publishing rights.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what those are worth.
Yeah, and by the way, the Dollywood thing, it's great. It's a classic Dolly Parton story.
Yeah.
Because this family called the Hershen Family Entertainment, they operated the Silver Dollar City in Tennessee in the mid-'70s. And then in 1986, they looked around and said, you know, Dolly's got a pretty big following around the world.
Yeah.
And so she set up a 50-50 partnership.
Well,
she owns 50% of Dollywood.
Okay.
And
for putting her name on it.
Yeah, just for putting her name on it.
But the other side is
better off.
Is much better off.
Way better off.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just saying that she was a great business person. Everything I've ever heard about her business acumen was she was very good, but she was very fair.
Yeah.
And so I just, you know, she was just such a truly amazing, as I say, unique person. And I wish that there was a way. You know, it's interesting when you look at people who die. A few years later, after they die, you celebrate their 5th year anniversary of their death for a day. And then in the 10th year, you talk about it for another day. I would love for somebody to come up with and approach Dolly's of the foundation, or whoever manages her name, and come up with Dolly Parton, the Dolly Parton Academy, and it's for grades K through 8, and it has, and one course for a full semester is about Dolly Parton, her life and values.
How to be like Dolly.
Yeah.
What a great role model she is, and it's very interesting when you look at it. You know, she had such a long experience here, but she also, here's what she did. She unified people. And in fact, the regime media, we'll play this clip right now. This is a clip from like 2018. This ABC reporter is trying to get her to say something bad about Donald Trump. And let's just say Dolly took him to the woodshed with a smile.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's play this clip.
I just don't get into that, and so if you are deciding you may want to ask me something more serious, don't, because I'm not going to answer it.
We have a president of the United States who said those things on that bus.
I'm not addressing that. I do not get into that. Of course, I have my opinion about everybody and everything. But I learned a long time ago, keep your damn mouth shut if you want to stay in show business. I'm not in politics. I'm an entertainer.
And yet, you're also a role model.
Yes, I am. That's why I don't talk about people.
That's the best line right there. I'm a role model, and that's why I don't talk about people.
And the intonation, the way she handled it,
yeah.
It was almost like a line from a song. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't talk about people. It's like, wow.
Yeah, well, and her interview with Barbara Walters, I've seen clips of that.
Yeah.
And it was so honest. That's what's, and I'll guarantee you, Barbara Walters was just floored because this is the interview in the bus.
Yeah.
Where Dolly says, "Well, let me give you a tour of the bus." I can't do it like Dolly Parton. But she goes back and there's bunk beds. And Barbara Walsh says, "Man, this is cozy. I mean, gosh, I wouldn't want to be on the bottom bunk over here." Well, we're family. We know it. Yeah, we're family. We know each other well. And then she takes it back. I take it back to my bedroom, and then she opens that thing. She says, "Here are all my wigs." and I mean, it was just so. You know what? One of the words that would describe her is genuine.
Yeah, very genuine.
I mean, just. And so anyway, it's
well, it's a huge loss for the country. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
because
and that's why I want it to continue. I'd love for some entrepreneurs to come up with because by the time if you're in K through 8 and you're in Dolly Parton Academy and you've had a semester of Dolly Parton's life and values, you're going to be a better person by the time you're 12 or 13.
I think there will never be another person.
No.
As unifying and as great a talent as Dolly Parton.
I agree.
It's just really, and it's sad.
I agree.
It's sad that we've lost her.
Yeah.
And there's really, if you look at sort of the entertainment world, no one unifies the way Dolly did.
Yeah. Well, there's some other entertainers who were great entertainers.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said that I wouldn't describe her as the greatest entertainer of all time, but I would say there are none who were above her in that level. But entertainer, person, if you take all the boxes, she checked every box. So anyway, she's
and there's a vigil. Her house in Brentwood. She had a big fence there, but it's piled up with flowers and cards.
So she lived the last. How many years of her life did she live in Brentwood?
I think probably 40, 50, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, most of the rest were.
So she lived in California for a short period of time.
Very short when she
did not. You know what? I didn't know that. I went to by the way, the play, Dolly.
Yeah, great.
Was fantastic.
Crom, when we come back, we'll talk politics.
Okay.
Because I know you want to talk about politics.
Well, politics.
I like talking about Dolly probably more than politics these days, but we're going to our show is politics and law. Back with the great Crom Carmichael after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of three who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the original All-Star panelist, the one, the only, Carmichael. You and I were talking about the perilous situation our constitutional republic is in.
Yes.
In August of 2026. A lot of that difficulty arises from the craziness of the Democrat Socialists of America, in essence the communists, and the rise of Muslim candidates who are promoting Sharia law.
Well, and the Democrat Party.
Yep.
Because here's what's been happening. You have, for example, in Michigan, you had an establishment Democrat running against Abdul al-Sayed, who is a Muslim who has made it clear, and this is what I want to get to later, who has made it clear that Sharia law is the basis of his entire belief system, and he will adhere to Sharia law till the day he dies. That is a quote from him on video about what Sharia law means to him. So we ought to discuss what Sharia law is.
Well, let's just ask this: Is Sharia law merely a religion entitled to the protections of religions under the First Amendment?
No. Sharia law is a body of law. That's why they call it Sharia law.
That's what you call a clue. They add law to it.
They have the word law. And
but
so
now El-Sayed,
he's trying to claim it's something that it's not.
He's trying to claim it's like Catholic canon law, which it is not.
No. It's not at all. That's the whole point.
Yep.
Because Catholic canon law isn't Muhammad set up a legal system during his lifetime, and that was called Sharia law. And when he died, that law was not to change. So what I did was I just did some searches, for example. Now, Al Said has said he's for reparations.
By the way, his parents were born in Egypt.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Well, no, not
They
just
came over
that.
here.
Well, not just that. It said he's for reparations. Now, so I did a search. I said, did Muslims own slaves in the 18th and 19th century? 18th and 19th century, which is the same time period as slavery existed here. And the answer is yes. Muslims did own slaves in the 18th and 19th century, particularly in regions such as the Ottoman Empire and parts of Africa. Okay, so
they were the people that captured slaves.
They did that too, but they not just captured them and sold them.
Yeah, they
also had them.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, do Muslims in Michigan, do they need to pay reparations for the slaves that their ancestors owned in the Middle East and in Africa?
An excellent rhetorical question.
Yeah, so it's a fair question. So then my next question.
You could ask El Said, and he would basically say...
He would punt.
He would punt.
Yeah.
He would say,
and
well, I'm not living in Africa today.
Right. Yeah.
He'd say
so
something
I'm not
like
going
that.
to answer the question.
Right.
So my next question was, under Sharia law, are Muslims and Jews equal under the law? I
Pretty
just asked
obvious.
that question. Okay.
What is the answer?
And the answer to that question is, under Sharia law, Jews are considered dhimmis, and that is a status that is below any Muslim. So any Jew has a status below any Muslim, which means that they are a protected group but are subject to certain restrictions and must recognize Islamic sovereignty as superior to Judaism. So if you're going
that would
to
apply to Christians as well, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
but it actually is anyone who is not Muslim.
Boom. Yeah.
Okay, and so Muslims are superior under Sharia law to all other belief systems. Okay, so when it comes to equality under the law, the answer is Sharia law treats everyone who is not Muslim different than Muslims. So my next question was, under Sharia law, is homosexuality permitted? Answer, under Sharia law, homosexuality is generally condemned, with many interpretations prescribing severe punishments, including the death penalty, which exists today in some countries that practice Sharia law. So these are the questions that he needs to be asked. Well, is homosexuality okay with you because you're a proponent of Sharia law?
He said he's going to live it through his whole life, right?
Yes. As he said, it's the core of his being. This is what he said, so I'm not having to
Well,
put anything in his
let me
mouth.
just throw one other little
Can
caveat
I
here.
Can I throw in just a couple others here?
I got one, though.
Please go right ahead.
I can't resist.
All right.
Do you understand Pete Buttigieg is a resident of Michigan right now?
Exactly.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but he's gay.
Yes.
And he took, he and his gay partner, adopted a couple kids. He took, 2 months off of fatherhood leave. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Maternal. Not maternity leave.
Maternity
it's called maternity leave.
Maternity, whatever.
Which covers both.
Okay, so what does Pete Buttigieg say about El Said?
I don't know. And that's a great question. It needs to be asked of him, and it needs to be asked with the Sharia law context. But this is about you personally.
Yeah,
this could affect you personally. So then the next question is: under Sharia law, can a Muslim man marry a Jewish woman? The answer is yes. A Muslim man can marry a Jewish woman under Sharia law. Next question: can a Muslim woman marry a Jewish man?
I got a sense. I think I know what's coming here.
No, that is forbidden.
That's forbidden.
Yeah, and so equal treatment under the law for women and men is simply does not exist in Sharia law, and we must remember that Sharia law was adopted in the time of Muhammad, and Muhammad said, from this time on, it will not change. Now, that's different than the U.S. Constitution, which has a process to be amended. There is no amendment process that Muhammad left in Sharia law. And we can almost joke about this, but the problem that I have is the Democrat Party has said that they accept everyone. They're a big tent party. Okay, well, Muslims still believe in slavery. Muslims still believe that slavery is okay because for Muhammad it was okay, and it doesn't change. And so you have to ask the Democrat Party, are you okay with the Sharia law definition of slavery? Are you okay with that? And they need to be, so we're at a point where the concern that I have is that, first of all, I will promise you that Abdul al-Said is absolutely an Islamist. Mm-hmm. And believes that Sharia law should be the law of the land. Mm-hmm. So, and also, by the way, in Sharia law, the question is it permitted? That's the best way to ask the question, by the way. Is it permitted under Sharia law for a Muslim to lie in order to further Islam?
I think I know the answer.
What do you think it is?
Yes.
Yes, it is permitted to lie if it's for the purpose of furthering Islam.
I have one question for you. All of this is true,
mm-hmm.
and yet the most recent polls show it's a dead heat between these two, between Mike Rogers, the Republican,
this is why,
and Abdul el-Sayed, the promoter of Sharia law.
Yeah, this is why.
Democrat.
This is why I'm saying I am so concerned about where we are, because the Democrat Party, you had the person who was selected in Florida who had spent less than $1 million, Angie Nixon, and she is a hardcore social Democrat. And not particularly bright. And what I'm saying
but she may not be on her way to a mental health facility in the way that the nominee in Oklahoma is. Did you see the clip of her?
But my point is, as soon as Angie Nixon beat Vindman, who was the Democrat establishment candidate, as soon as she won, the Democrat Party said, "Oh, you're part of us.
Yeah,
you're part of us." And so the Democrat Party is incapable of condemning anyone who has beliefs that are doesn't matter what they are,
antithetical to everything about America.
About America.
Yeah.
So tell me about I saw some clips on the Democrat socialist who won the Democrat primary.
Yeah.
So this is a major party primary in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I mean, she just went like nuts in her bedroom and ran around like she was about to, have some kind of fit.
Right.
And then she took a pair of scissors and started cutting up pictures of Republicans.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Yeah, the DHS guy.
Because at the time she was doing it, she thought she'd be running against him.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is that we're at a point where you have one of the two major political parties in the primaries. They are selecting people who are so un-American.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that they would destroy the entire system. And by the way, what does that mean to the average American?
It would not be good.
It would destroy their pensions. It would destroy their retirement.
Everything.
It destroys everything. And if you're a government employee and you think your retirement is safe because you have a defined benefits program, your defined
not
benefits,
under the Democrats.
Your defined benefits program is dependent on the value of the equities in their funds.
When we come back, we're going to be joined by Dr. Claire Reeves, who has got a commentary up at the Tennessee Star. Our legal victory in Tennessee against Meta means other social media platforms need to step up. Dr. Claire Reeves joins us after the break.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% 10% off on your initial shipment of Soul Tea, and I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
August 17th. Big changes are coming to the John Fredericks Media Network. John Fredericks, Your Godzilla of Truth, starts the day from 6 to 10. Wendy Bell follows from 10 to noon. Rob Carson staying put at noon to 3. Michael Patrick Leahy moves to 3 o'clock, followed by Katz and Cosby at 5. America's new boss for conservative talk is the John Fredericks Media Network.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Honesty, integrity, help Tennessee, markpody.com.
The values that have made Tennessee strong, faith, personal responsibility, freedom, and respect for one another are rooted in timeless godly principles. Those values are worth protecting, and I'm going to continue fighting to preserve them for our children and grandchildren. I'm Mark Pody, and I'd be honored to earn your vote again.
markpody.com.
Paid for by the campaign to elect Mark Pody.
Candace Graham, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Well, I think this is a first for the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our guest, Dr. Claire Reeves, has a PhD in cellular and molecular biology. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
First time ever. We've been doing this for 8 years.
Yes.
How does one go about getting a PhD in cellular and molecular biology?
You go to school for a really long time. So I graduated from Duke University for my undergrad.
Hold it, Duke. I think I've heard of that place.
Yes.
Yeah. Were you there for the basketball championships?
Not for the I missed basketball championships. I graduated in 98. So big championships in like 91, 92.
But did you go to like the Cameron Field?
Of course. I was a Cameron crazy. I camped
crazy.
out.
And Coach K was there.
And Coach K was there.
Well, you had the great years.
During the heyday, for sure.
Great years.
For sure. And I was always interested in science, so I was a biology major. And then I went and I worked at a biotech company that was sequencing the human genome at the time. That was in...
Which one was that?
Solera Genomics.
Guess, yes.
Yeah, Craig Venter was the...
Yes. You worked for that guy?
I did, yeah.
Well, holy cow.
Yeah, and...
That's big time, Crom.
Yes,
big time.
we were... He decided to race the government, right? Because the government is so fast and efficient when it comes to major projects. And so it was announced that we really beat the federal government, but it was announced as a tie. So that was a really big deal. I'm an author on a paper in Science, where Science is like the premier scientific journal.
Very cool.
So you were there, and were you like going in your spare time to get your PhD, or how'd that happen?
So no, I was there. I was a lab technician, so like the lowest rung of the low. But they had a great tuition reimbursement program, and so if you went to school at night, working towards like a master's degree or something, they would pay for it. So I got a master's degree from Johns Hopkins, and
I've heard of that. Okay, Crom, this is pretty.
Oh yeah.
Academically, this is strong stuff.
Yeah.
John,
so where were you living when you got your master's at Johns Hopkins?
I was living in Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
Solera was located in Rockville, Maryland, and Johns Hopkins had a satellite campus.
Okay, all right.
Near where I worked.
Near Rockville.
Yes.
That was quite a commute, though, wasn't it?
But it was reverse. So
okay, you're going against
it really
traffic.
wasn't bad.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 20 minutes. Anyway, got that master's degree, and I knew I didn't want to be a lab tech forever, so then I actually went and spent a year at the NIH. And through that...
No.
Yes.
The NIH with Francis X. Collins and Dr. Fauci?
Yes.
But
Francis Collins was in charge at the time.
Yeah, yeah. But Fauci did what he was in a
CDC.
No. It was NIH or
it was. I think.
Allergies.
I don't know which.
You didn't hang out with him.
I did not. I did not know him at the time.
And if you're at NIH, I mean, it's a huge bureaucracy.
It is.
You probably saw Francis X. Collins once or twice or something like that.
I think I met him once.
Yeah.
I was in the Child Health and Human Development department. So all of that experience made me realize if I really want to take it anywhere, a career in science, I had to get a PhD. So then I applied to graduate school and
where'd you go?
I went to Columbia. I was choosing between Princeton and Columbia.
Okay.
And what was your when you're getting a PhD, you have to come up with something original. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you personally figure out what it is that you want to come up with that's original? And if so,
yes.
how does that process work?
So you just like any school, you take your base classes like the first year, and the second year you rotate through labs to figure out what your research interests are. Okay. I was always interested in cancer, breast cancer specifically, because my family is carriers of one of the BRCA mutations, BRCA2 mutations. So I wanted to be in a lab that was related to cancer research. So I ended up in a lab that studies angiogenesis, which is blood vessel formation. And for a tumor to grow, they need to recruit blood vessels, and that's how tumors spread throughout the body. And so we were doing basic research on blood vessel angiogenesis, blood vessel recruitment to tumors, and just as you're in a lab and starting to learn about that, you develop your own research project.
Okay. And so what did you what new thing did your PhD find?
So I studied specifically a protein called anthrax toxin receptor 2. Now, the name is related to how that protein was identified. It binds to anthrax toxin in our bodies, but it has a normal function, and it's highly prevalent on blood cells and other cell types. And so I was studying it's not there just to bind anthrax toxin, it is there to do some normal function, and I wanted to understand what that function was. And so through my research, I created a mouse that no longer produced that protein, and then you look to see what happens to that mouse. Are there any defects? And one of the big things I discovered that in those female mice, they can get pregnant, but they can't deliver their pups. They lose all of the muscle cells in their uterus, and their uterus becomes highly filled with all of the proteins, the collagen, the matrix that kind of supports that environment. So much so that as non-pregnant mice age, it's like major scarring tissue in the
Okay.
uterus.
Okay.
So they probably become infertile.
So, Crom, I think my IQ has just gone up 10 points in the last 10 minutes. Well, thank you, Claire.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's very good because I'm curious about this. So you moved then from Arlington, Virginia to Manhattan?
Yes.
And you're a PhD student in Columbia in Manhattan?
Yes.
That must have been something.
Yeah.
What was it like living as a PhD student in Manhattan?
Well, I was already married at the time by then. So I had met my husband when we were living in D.C. area, and he was
Georgetown Law.
Yeah, he was at
Did
Georgetown
he practice
Law.
law in New York City?
He got his first job in New York City.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So we moved up there.
Did you live in the Upper West Side?
The upper West Side.
Upper.
Yes, we were at the very top of Central
Isn't there
Park.
a little, what's that little community at the very top of the Upper West Side? They did
Albany. No.
Well done. Inner Haven or something? I don't know. Forget what it was.
I don't know.
Well, anyways, you lived there for what, 4 or 5 years?
We lived in New York City for 10 years.
Ooh, no kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we were first on the upper West Side, 109th and Central Park West, and then we moved into Harlem, actually. We were on 124th and 5th Avenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And then, so then you got, and what sort of work did you do in that field?
So
after you got your PhD.
So then if you're going to stay in academia, you do a postdoctoral stint.
Right.
So I actually stayed in my lab for several years, still continuing that work, because it takes a long time to go through that work. And I haven't even touched on the breast cancer piece of that research that I was doing, but I was also doing not just the basic research, but research on breast cancer and how that protein was involved in breast cancer. And I actually was awarded for my postdoctoral work a fellowship from Susan G. Komen that was pretty prestigious at the time.
Yeah, cancer
and research
for research related to this protein's involvement in breast cancer.
And when you were doing that. Toward the end of the research, were you working in the private sector, or were
No, I was still at Columbia in academia.
Okay.
But then we I think my last year of my PhD work, I had our first child, and so by the time I was well into my postdoctoral work, she was getting to be of school age, and we had never intended to stay in New York City forever. So we looked to move elsewhere. We did not want to have to navigate school
in New York
City.
No.
So that's when we moved to Houston.
Yeah.
And when we moved to Houston, I had labs at MD Anderson who I was ready to transfer to, but Komen wouldn't let me transfer my fellowship. It all had to stay at Columbia. So I had to make a hard decision and either move with my husband and let go of that research that I had spent years doing, or maybe transition into private sector. And so I chose to transition to the private sector.
Sure. Okay. So you worked for somebody in Houston?
Yeah, I worked at a small biotech company in Houston that was trying to develop technology to detect circulating tumor cells in the blood. So the idea would have been at the age of 50, you start getting screened and, hopefully.
Now, so you were doing all this research at Columbia.
Yeah.
And so you said you had to make a hard choice. Did you have to leave all your research at Columbia there? So you didn't get to take. But well, that doesn't seem like it's good public policy.
That wasn't very nice.
No.
I mean, it's not the niceness part. It's that she's working on something that's really important. And yet somebody said, well, you can't take any of this. Nobody else is going to use it, by the way, because you're the one who understands it and the rest don't.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So you were in Houston for a while, and then you moved up to Nashville.
Yes.
What prompted the move to Nashville?
Quality of life, honestly. I mean,
yeah.
I've
been to Houston.
Yeah.
It's a huge city.
Yeah, there are parts of it that are
huge.
nice.
There's no zoning, and there's the strip mall on every
Houston
corner.
has no zoning. That is a true statement.
Mm-hmm. And the traffic. I mean, people think the traffic is bad here, but go to Houston.
So you moved here how long ago?
In July of 2019.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you move to Franklin in July 2019?
Yes.
Oh, you made a
good choice.
You made a great choice.
We are before pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
We were the trendsetters.
But anyway, you picked just a wonderful community.
Yeah. So what do you do? What are you doing here? What's your gig here in Nashville?
So now it's a big pivot.
That's all right.
So I should say that the biotech company, that didn't work out. It was very clear that there were some issues there. I only stayed there for 6 months because I was very uncomfortable with, they were using some bad data to try to promote their system, only for clinical trials, but even that I felt was not right. And I didn't want all of my hard work and effort, my name attached to that.
Yeah.
So I pivoted, and my kids were my oldest was going to be starting kindergarten. So I pivoted to science writing. And I worked as a science writer for several years. I taught science writing. I've been to Korea and Mexico teaching science writing and did that for a long time. And then that led me to what I do now, which is I'm vice president of education for a company that teaches people how to invest in real estate. And I originally got a position with this company as a writer because you can imagine I did a ton of writing. I'm a very good writer. And that just led to what I do now.
When we come back, you have a commentary that we published, and it's well written, by the way.
Thank you.
At the Tennessee Star. Tennessee's legal victory against Meta now means other social media platforms need to step up. We'll hear about that with Dr. Claire Reeves when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com.
Ponder this. Most people want to have a good day every day. In order to do this, we must start our day with gratitude and keep an attitude of gratitude throughout the day. I offer you my recipe for having a great day and a joyful life. First, start each day being grateful that the Lord has given you another day to serve Him. Roll yourself out of bed, get on your knees, and say a morning prayer of thanksgiving. Ask the Lord to help you throughout the day to do whatever His will is for you. Next, thank God for the little things that make your day better. I thank Him immensely for my morning coffee and for my legs that allow me to take a morning walk. I pray for those who cannot walk because of age, injury, or disability. Throughout the rest of the day, I am grateful for the people God has placed in my life. I thank Him for those who love me, and I pray especially for those who do not love me. Find ways in your day to thank God continually and offer prayers for all those the good Lord has placed in your daily path. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Soul Tea almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Soul Tea. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Soul Tea, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Wagering at its finest, playing at the highest levels, under the highest stakes for more than a decade. This is the world Past the Wire has conquered, bringing you uncompromised thoroughbred authority and elite track data that anchors the game. But the modern wagering landscape is expanding. Every sport, every line, every prop, and every high leverage future, we decode the metrics across the entire board. From game day spreads to the explosive new frontier of prediction markets and event contracts, we give you intelligence to dominate the modern financial exchanges. Because in the end, it's a battle. You versus the house. You versus the other players. In this arena, we fight with you. We are your ultimate edge. Welcome to the Ultimate Wagering Network. Subscribe to Past the Wire TV and turn on notifications because when the dust settles,
Nobody does it better.
Saturday morning, 6 on the radio, 11 on JFMN.TV.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Our guest here in studio, Dr. Claire Reeves, who also serves on the Williamson County School Board. You have a commentary, headline at the Tennessee Star. Good choice of publication, by the way.
Thank you.
Tennessee's legal victory against Meta now means other social media platforms need to step up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's huge. Well, we are very fortunate with our Attorney General in Tennessee, Jonathan Scrimetti. He led this effort along with 46 other attorney generals, and they sued Meta. And they walked away with a huge settlement.
It's like $18 billion.
Yes, $17.1 billion. And in addition to that, binding platform changes. So kids who are 13 years old or younger, if they open an Instagram account, because let's face it, most kids aren't on Facebook.
No, that's for the ancients.
Yes, that's right. They're going to now get break reminders, and they're going to not receive notifications during the school day, and they're not going to have access to the beauty filters and things that could damage their self-esteem. So, and there's lots of other accountability measures.
Tell me about
as well.
a beauty filter. What's a beauty filter?
Oh, when you I don't know. I don't use them. But when you go on to like Snapchat or Instagram, you can select a filter to put over your, to make yourself look better.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Crom,
you and I have not used it.
Neither of us have used the filters.
Used it. Yeah. Yes. So it's a huge, huge win. And it's quite staggering. I think Tennessee's portion of that, I want to get the number right, it's $751.9 million.
That's a lot of money.
That will go into a specific fund that's designated that's related to protecting kids, digital protection. So
now I have a question. The settlement.
Yes.
I mean, the victory was a settlement, so it wasn't a jury trial or anything like that. It was a settlement. Included in the settlement, I mean, to me, Meta settled because even while they may not have admitted it, they didn't want the evidence presented at trial of the harm that they have caused over the years. They didn't want that, so they settled. Now, can a bunch of class action people get together, or is that precluded from? Is part of the settlement that a class action of kids from Tennessee who are now 25 and 50,000 of them get together and say, well, we were damaged to the tune of $1 million apiece.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that piece.
You don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this will be put to good use, I guess, right?
I hope that Tennessee will put the funds to good use. I mean, it's goes into a designated fund, and I think that fund specifically is supposed to deal with protecting children online. So, I don't know.
Each state gets to determine how they're going to spend their own money, though.
Yes.
So in Tennessee, the money might be well spent.
In Minnesota, it will be leering centers all over the place.
Exactly.
Asterisk.
That's
so. I think it's like Children's Digital Protection Fund.
Yeah. So at the end of your op-ed, you talk about at the federal level, you suggest Congress should pass Senator Marsha Blackburn's Kids Online Safety Act.
Yes.
And the App Store Accountability Act.
Yes. Yes.
Tell me about the App Store Accountability Act.
Well, basically, it will require any app in the Google or Apple app stores to verify a kid's age. But so it's creating true informed consent for parents, right? And it wouldn't allow kids to fake their age and get around then being able to download an app like Instagram and claim they're 16 and then no longer be protected by some of these new features.
How did I mean, if you go to the App Store today and you try to I'm going to try to role play this, and you try and a 12-year-old wants to download a particular app, and the app says, "How old are you?
Yeah.
What's the date of your birth?
Yeah.
Your birthday?" And so the 12-year-old puts in a 16-year-old's birthday.
Yeah.
How do they check that? Do they get the Social Security number?
I'm sure there must be a database somewhere, or the parents are going to have to be doing it for them.
I have a last question
Okay,
for you.
all right.
At the end of your op-ed in the Tennessee Star,
Yep.
you say you're asking parents across Williamson County, where you're on the school board, and beyond, to join you at home. No social media apps until at least 16.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the data is pretty clear on how damaging these apps are. There's been a nationwide effort to get phones out of schools during the school day, and we're really seeing that take hold. I mean, some states like Alabama have passed legislation that requires from bell to bell the phones are out.
No phone. No cell phones,
No.
bell to bell. I think in Tennessee that's optional
It is
currently.
the law in
Senator
Tennessee.
Blackburn wants to change that.
She
to be
does.
bell to bell.
She does, which I fully
Yeah.
support.
Yep.
She so Tennessee's law right now focuses on instructional time, and so Marcia has run as governor on a platform of Away for the Day, bell to bell.
And on that note, Dr. Claire Reeves, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, you're
we
welcome.
really learned a lot, didn't we, Crom?
Oh, you bet.
You bet. All
It was
right.
fun.
Up next, Katz and Cosby, John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Back tomorrow, same time, same place. The great Neil W. McCabe from the White House will be joining us.